Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Learning Quran. So we are resuming the translation of Surah Al Baqarah from the ayat number 7. So let's start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. So translation of the seventh ayah. Khatamallahu ala qulubihim wa ala sam'ihim wa ala absarihim gishawatun wa lahum adhabun azim. Allah has set a seal on their hearts and on their hearing and on their eyes there is a covering, and for them there lies a mighty punishment. Favor be drawn by the Allah is a punishment. These two verses tell us that the other world is a place where one would receive the real punishment for one's disbelief or some of one's sin. One may, however, receive some punishment for the certain sins even in this world, such as the punishment sometimes takes a very grievous form, that is to divine favor, which helps one to reform oneself, is withdrawn, so that ignoring how one's deeds are to be assessed on the day of the judgment, one keeps off growing the disobedience and the sins and finally comes to lose even the awareness of the evil. In delineating such a situation, certain elders have remarked that one punishment for an evil deed is another evil deed which comes after, and one reward for a good deed is another good deed which comes after. According to the hadith, when a man commits a sin, a black dot appears on his heart. This first dot disturbs him just as a smudge on a white cloth is always displeasing to us. But if instead of asking Allah's pardon for the first sin, that he proceeds to commit a second, another dot shows up. Thus with every new sin, the black dots goes on multiplying till the whole heart turns the dark. Okay, so but if instead of asking Allah's pardon for the first sin, he proceeds to commit a second, another dot shows up. Thus with every new sin, the black dots go on multiplying till the whole heart turns dark, and no, he can no longer see good as good nor evil as evil, and grows quite incapable of making such the distinctions. The Holy Prophet ﷺ added that the Holy Quran uses the term ran or the rain rust of this darkness, as in the Mishkat from the Musnad of the Ahmad and Tirmizi. These are the names of the books, Musnad of Ahmad and the Tirmizi. No, but what they did has rusted their hearts. According to another authentic hadith reported by the Tirmizi from the blessed companion Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, when a man commits a sin, his heart grows dark, but if he seeks Allah's pardon, it becomes clear again. See Qurtubi. It should be carefully noted that in announcing that it is all one whether the Holy Prophet ﷺ wants the disbelievers or not, the Holy Quran adds the condition alayhim for them, which clearly indicates that it is all one for the disbelievers alone and not for the Holy Prophet ﷺ. For the word in any case get a reward for the beginning the message of Allah to his fellow man and for his efforts to teach and reform them. That is why there is no a single verse in the Holy Quran which should dissuade the Holy Prophet ﷺ from calling even such people to Islam. From this we may infer that the man who strives to spread the word of Allah and to reform his fellow man does always get a reward for his good deed, even if he has not been effective. A doubt is removed. We may also answer a question which sometimes arises in the connection with the second of these, the two verses that speaks of the heart and the ears of the disbelievers having been sealed and their eyes being covered. We find a similar statement in the another verse of the Holy Quran. Kalla bal rana ala qulubihim ma kanu yaksibun. No, but what they did has rusted their hearts, which makes it plain that it is their arrogance and their evil deeds themselves that have settled to do their hearts as a rust. In the verse under discussion, it is in this virus which have been described as a shield or a covering. So there is no occasion here is to arise the objection that if Allah Himself has sealed their hearts and blocked them their senses, they are helpless and cannot be held responsible for being the disbelievers, and hence they should not be punished for what they have not themselves chosen to do. If we consider the two verses 2:7 and the 83:14 together, we can easily see why they should be punished in adopting the way of the arrogance and the pride. They have willfully and out of their own choice destroyed their capacity for accepting the truth, and thus they themselves are the authors of their own ruin. But Allah, being creator, all the actions of His creature has in verse 2:7 attributed to Himself the setting of a seal on the hearts and the ears of the disbelievers, and has thus pointed out that the one that these people insisted as a matter of their own choice on destroying their aptitude of receiving the truth, Allah produced and is His way in such cases the state of the insensitivity in their hearts and the senses. Ayat number 8. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, and of the people, man are some Yaqulu, some who Yaqulu say, Amanna, we believed, Billahi, in Allah, wa bil yawmil, and in the day, al akhiri, the last, Wama, but not whom they be mu'mineen or believers at all. And among men there are some who say, we believe in Allah and in the last day, yet they are not believers. Laying in the contemptible the words Amanna billahi wa bil yawmil akhir, we believe in Allah and in the last day, shows us how distinction is to tell a lie. Even the hypocrites with their all their hostility to Islam try to refrain from it as far as possible. In claiming to be Muslim, they used to mention only their faith in Allah and in the day of the judgment, but left out the faith in the Holy Prophet ﷺ for fear of telling a lie. يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ, they seek to deceive Allah, وَالَّذِينَ, and those who amanu, believed, وَمَا, and not, يَخْدَعُونَ, they deceive, إِلَّا, except أَنفُسَهُمْ, themselves, وَمَا, and not, يَشْعُرُونَ, they realized it. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe, when they are deceiving none but their own selves, and they are not aware. Misbehaving Prophet ﷺ is to misbehave with Allah. These verses denounce the hypocrites for trying to be clever with Allah Himself and to deceive Him, although no one among them could probably have had such an intention or even thought of such a possibility. What they were actually doing was to try to deceive the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims? No. Allah has equated this effort with an attempt to deceive Him, and has thus indicated that a man who is in any way impertinent to a prophet or a man of Allah is ultimately guilty of being impertinent to Allah Himself. This should be true about all the case of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, who stands in his situation at the head of all created beings. in qulubihim, their hearts, marazun, is a disease, fazadahum, so has increased them, Allah marazan, in disease, walahum, and for them, azabun, is a punishment, alim, painful, bima, because, kanu, they used to, yakzibun, they lie. Ayatan, in their hearts there is a malady, so Allah has made them grow in their malady, and for them there lies grievous punishment, for they have been lying. The third verse indicates why the hypocrites behave foolishly and why they fail to see the folly of their course. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا. In their hearts there is a malady, there is a disease, so Allah has made them grow in their malady. No illness or the disease in the general medical sense is a state in which a man has lost the balanced proportion of the elements within him necessary to keep him healthy, so that his body can no longer function properly, which may finally lead to his total destruction. In the terminology of the Holy Quran and the Hadith, the word disease is also applied to the certain mental or the physic states, which are using the two terms in the original and the more comprehensive sense. which hinder man from the attaining any degree of the spiritual perfection, for they gradually deprive him of the ability to perform the good deeds and even of the ordinary human decency, till he meets with his spiritual death. The great spiritual master Junaid of the Baghdad, so he was a great spiritual master, Junaid of Baghdad, has said that just as the disease of the body arises from an imbalance among of the four humors, the disease of the heart arises from the surrenders to one's physical desires. According to the present verse, the disease hidden in their hearts is unbelief and the rejection of the truth, which is as much a physical sickness as a spiritual one. It is all too obvious that being the ungrateful to one's creator or the nourisher and going against his commandments is to be spiritually sick. Moreover, to keep his disbelief concealed for the sake of the petty worldly gains and not to have the courage to speak out one's mind in no less a disease of the soul. Hypocrisy is a physical disease too, in so far as to hypocrite is always shuddering for fear of being exposed. Jealousy being a necessary ingredient of the hypocrisy, he cannot bear to see the Muslims growing stronger in the world, and yet the poor hypocrites cannot even have the satisfaction of unburdening his hearts of the venom. It's really the common sense. No wonder that all this tension should express itself in the physical ailment. The curse of the feeling lies. There is an other subtle, a very significant point here. According to these verses, the hypocrites would meet with the grievous punishment of having told lies. No, their greatest crime was disbelief and hypocrisy in the matter of the faith, and they have been committing other crimes as well, like the nursing envy and the malice against the Muslim in their hearts and actually conspiring against them, and yet the grievous punishment has been connected with their habit of telling lies. This is an indication that basically this nefarious habit was their real crime, which gradually led them to hypocrisy and disbelief. In other words, although the hypocrisy and the disbelief are much greater crimes, yet they arise from the habit of telling lies. This is why the Holy Quran combines the sin of lying with the sin of the idol worship in the same phrase. وَاجْتَنِبُوا الرَّجْسَ مِنَ الْأَوْثَانِ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الْقَوْلَ الزُّورِ. Guard yourself against the filth of idols and against telling lies. Telling lies is also. Ayat number 11. وَإِذَا and when قِيلَ it is said lahum to them, la, do not, tufsidu, spread corruption, fil arzi, in the earth. Qalu, they say, innama, only, nahnu, we, muslihun, we are the reformers. And when it is said to them, don't spread a disorder on the earth, they say we are nothing but the reformers. Okay, so that's it for today. Inshallah, we will meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.